These are my currants that I just picked this afternoon. These are black currants, and there's probably, oh gosh, a good 8 pounds there. And these are the red currants that I picked. Took all the stems out of them, and this is the beginning of making wine. I'm going to use these currants, and these will be the base of my wine, along with raspberries, blueberries, and elderberries. Ready? Okay. I'm going to try to make some wine. Red currant. Picked all the red currants. It says you're supposed to crush these, but instead of crushing them, I'm going to put them in the blender. I'm lazy. I'm going to put them all in the blender. And I do need a little water to go in them, so I'm going to put a little bit of water in here. Just a little water. And gonna on. And I'm going to pour this into a big bucket, a big white bucket. I'll do the same thing with this, this, and this. Now I've gotten the red currants and the black currants all blended up. It's like a big mush. To this I'm going to add hot water. I'm going to add probably 3 gallons. I'll fill it up to the top here of gallons of hot water, boiling water. Then I will add my sugar. I haven't decided yet how much sugar to add. I'll think about that. Okay, on here we've got 1.5 gallons of water and 1.5 gallons of water. We've split our berries up to 8 pounds here and 8 pounds in here. We have a 10-pound bag of sugar. We're going to put 5 pounds of sugar in 1.5 gallons, 5 pounds of sugar in 1.5 gallons. Then we'll add that boiling to each bucket. 1 here, 1 here. Then we'll heat another 1.5 gallons of water and another 1.5 gallons of water and add it to here and to here. That's it. I've got 8.5 gallons, no, 8.5 pounds of fruit, and I'm using 3 gallons of water, and yeah, 3 gallons of water, and 5, 6, 7 pounds of sugar. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm going to add some fruit pectin to each of our 5-gallon barrels of water and fruit. Okay, I've gotten the bucket of the 5-gallon bucket. It's not quite full, and the berries are in there. There's 8.5 pounds of currants, black and red. There's 3 gallons, well, not quite, 2.5 gallons to 3 gallons of water, boiling water, with sugar in it, which was, I think, 7 pounds of sugar. And that's all, and then I added a little fruit pectin in there, a teaspoon of fruit pectin. And I have about half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of warm water, like the kind of thing you take a bath in or shower in. It's got to be warm, because that starts the yeast activating it. It makes it come alive. Putting it here, stirring it, and this is the yeast nutrient. And I will be adding a teaspoon of the yeast nutrient. This helps feed the yeast to begin with. About a teaspoon of that. 2 of them together. So we got the yeast nutrient. Buy them at a health food store. And stirring this. See, it's nice and dissolved. If it was cold water, it would take a long time for it to dissolve. So the yeast is ready to go in the bucket now, and I'll go put it in the bucket. That's it. And this is activated now. What I mean activated is it's coming alive. And when I pour it into the 5-gallon jug of pulp and water and sugar, this will start eating the sugar and making bubbles, carbon dioxide. We will put this in with the sludge out there and the pulp out there on the porch and let it sit for 5 days, covered with a cheesecloth, just so bugs don't get in it, but there's no bugs in it. And in about 5 days, it will start bubbling up, and you can hear it popping and bubbling as the carbon dioxide comes out. So now we're going to take this over here. I also have some citric acid, which is lemon juice, same thing. Okay, so let's go into the other oven. And that's from last night. And I'm going to put in just a squirt of, almost missed it, of lemon juice. And I'm putting in the yeast. Let me go get a big spoon and I'll stir it. And then that'll be starting to cover it. Now I'm going to take this and stir it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that. Now I've got to keep it in a warm place, which is out here on the porch because it is summertime. And it will get up to 80 degrees out here. And it'll work on the sugar. And we'll cover that, and I'll do the same thing with the other bucket. That's all there is to it. Isn't that beautiful? That's it. This is day 6. It's been sitting out on the porch, fermenting. You can hear the bubbles. Hear the bubbles? That means the yeast is active. The yeast has not died. It's working. So now we want to put this, strain this, get the pulp out of it, and put this into this jug here. Now comes the tough part. Okay. I'm going to cut some of this. I don't want the whole thing. I'm going to need some. Put the cheesecloth over this bucket and I'm going to start scooping out. I'll get a big scoop. Scoop out the sludge. Most of it's floating to the top, which is going to make it easier. I've rinsed out my bottle, sterilized my big jug there, and smells like wine already. I'm going to strain this out, and that is going to be the juice that's going to go in that bottle right here. And once I strain it all, then I'll put the hydroculator, not the hydroculator, I'll show you in a minute, the gizmo that goes on the top to make the carbon dioxide escape. Okay, bring this up here for the moment. We've just strained it with the cheesecloth, and now we're pouring the strained liquid into the big container. We'll do that with the rest of this here, which is the sludge stuff, and more sludge stuff. We'll make sure all the juice comes out of that and into this bucket. Once we do that, this cork on the top with this on it, with the water in it. And then it'll sit on this. There's the liquid, and there's the stopper right there. And it'll sit like that for about a month, and it will bubble up and make all kinds of noise as the yeast eats the sugar. This is the wine that we put up on Tuesday, July 27th. And you can see it's bubbling. Let me catch it bubbling. Because the yeast is working. You see a bubble? Oh, there it goes there. So here's what it looks like here, unwrapped, keeping it warm. Keeping it warm, and I'll keep it out here for probably a month. And then I'll rack it. And then keep it out here another month, and then it might be done. There it comes. Now it's siphoning in, and it's clear. We're trying to siphon it so that all the clear goes in there. And when it starts getting to the bottom, then we'll take it, we'll stop, and we'll pour off the bottom inch of the jug here, which will be the dead pieces of yeast that have eaten up the sugar and are settling on the bottom. You've got to get rid of that. So we'll just keep siphoning it till it gets clear as much as we can, and then we'll pour off the rest. This is the currant wine. It's been siphoned once, racked once, and we'll be doing it again probably in a month or two. It's still bubbling. Okay, we're going to start siphoning the wine. So here's the currant wine on the counter, and we're going to siphon it from here down into bottles down here. We'll let the siphoning and the gravity process bring the wine down to the bottles. So I'll get the siphon going, and then we'll start filling bottles. Ooh. Man, it's coming so fast. Can you slow it down with the stopper there, up there? The wine. Currant wine. It's a lot easier than the hand corker. There's a beautiful bottle of wine right there. With those bottles. The jug is almost empty. We left the bottom of it.